Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. Today, we're discussing a 2023 launch from the Evo 9 collection, so part of the Series 9 Evolution 9. This is the Grand Seiko Spring Drive 5 Days SLGA019 Lake Suwa. So the Lake Suwa is a cool 40mm titanium take on the same dial techniques used on the white birch and the black birch, but instead of having a vertical striation, we have more of a horizontal waveform to remind you of Lake Suwa, part of the natural beauty outside of the Shinshu Watch Studio in Nagano Prefecture, where these watches are made. So in what they call high-intensity titanium, effectively the equivalent of grade 5 in all substantial properties, the watch is 40 in diameter, 12.1 millimeters thick. If you just measure it from lug tip to lug tip, it's 47.5 millimeters, but if we measure it end link to end link, then it's 50.9 millimeters. There's a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs, so it's got a nice broad modern stance on the wrist, the way the Evo 9 watches tend to. And you can see how well it wears. Now, if you were to put this on a strap, I'd say a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference would work. On the bracelet with the solid end links, I'm going to say 15 centimeters circumference or larger. And again, my wrist is 16. Over the top, down the barrel, and the cuff shot. And you should have no trouble fitting this under a cuff. Being titanium, it is a very light watch. The bracelet's nicely made. You can see a 3-link design with a solid end link. It's all satin finished with the removable links fitted by pins and sleeves. Now, this is a very durable system, and I think the fear at Grand Seiko, it's the same fear that Patek Philippe has. It's that you'll strip out a screw, especially a titanium screw. It's theoretically possible. One thing I will say is it's impossible to strip out a pin sleeve system and strand a link, but you will need a block and a punch to size this. Now, taking a quick look, you can see there's an intermediate sized link on each side of the bracelet, so you can fine tune the fit if you find yourself in between sizes. We've got thick gauge titanium swing arm, single swing arm. Note the combination of satin and media blast here, twin trigger release, and then internally, you can see robust construction. Taking a look at the case, it's a fusion of a couple of different forms, the 9S, the 62GS, the 44GS, and a little bit of something that's all its own. So you have curves and creases, you have facets, but also flat planes that sweep and curve and arc in a complex compound form. All the polishing is done by tin plate, the famed Zaratsu Zalitz machine polishing that takes 3 years to learn. It is applied manually, and it takes about 3 years to learn this. It's a handcraft, so not only is this dial handmade, but the case is hand finished. A lot of Swiss watches in this price point, in fact, most of them don't offer anything so fine. Screw down crown, it is 100 meters water resistant. Let me try to move closer to my light source. Maybe you could see this Lake Suwa inspired undulating multi-step dial a little bit better. Now the hands, the dial furniture, logo, date frame, indices, all of these are cut and finished manually. They are placed manually and then caulked manually. So this is a fully handcrafted dial. Grand Seiko watches are substantially handcrafted, something you can do when you're building watches in lower volumes than the Tags, the Breitlings, the Omegas, and the Rolexes of the world. You can also see how fine the facets are on those hands. Blade-like polished flanks and then satinated tops. Just to be clear, because I know some people are going to wonder, turn out the light, there is no lume. Taking a quick look, one of the main changes for the new generation spring drive, the 5-day, 2 barrels, yes, now accurate to 10 seconds a month rather than 15, yes, but also the movement of the once divisive power reserve indicator from the dial to the case back where everyone should enjoy it. We have this ghosted and silkscreen Grand Seiko Lion logo. We have this lovely fan cut to the power reserve sweep. Note the many bevels in this media blasted movement along the rotor as well with blued screws. It's a real step up in finish and a larger movement than the previous 9R calibers. It's the 9RA2, and with 2 barrels, we now have a full 5 days of power reserve, a really special watch on every level. Now, this is a movement that uses a unidirectional governing wheel, which you can just see through perforations in the bridge. And as it turns, driven by the mainsprings of the watch, it creates an induced electrical current that activates a quartz oscillator, which in turn creates an electromagnetic braking force that slows down the governing wheel. The governing wheel is geared on one end to the drivetrain from the springs, and on the other end equivalent to the drivetrain that drives the hands at center. So there is no battery, there's no capacitor, there's no stepper motor. You have quartz precision at 10 seconds a month, but you also have fully mechanical drive and a watchmaker-built and serviceable lifetime mechanical movement. And the purely smooth glide of this seconds hand is unlike anything else in watchmaking. Piaget tried its hand but ultimately gave up. Spring drive in its automatic form took from 1977 to 2005 to conceive, engineer, patent, troubleshoot, perfect, and bring to market. So you were looking at a supreme accomplishment of horological engineering and vision, as well as the sheer determination of the company through all those decades to stick with the project. Truly special, a watch made with pride in Japan. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.